Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Detutu. If this is your first time here and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking by. Today we have Kelechi and she's going to talk to us about the highs and lows of studying in Germany.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelechi Ibeleche and I moved to Germany for the past 5 years. I moved to Germany 5 years ago and I came here as a student. And yeah, I studied at the Fachhochschule Münster International Marketing and Sales. So I'm basically a digital marketer currently and a content creator. And speaking of content creation, I own a YouTube channel as well where I share videos about what it's like to be a student, a foreigner, an expat living in Germany. So yeah, that's that in a nutshell about myself. And I also like to travel when time and money permits. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what about me.
All right. Thank you for that brief introduction. Could you please describe your study experience in Germany? How was that for you?
Starting off, it was like, what's going on here? It was really not nothing like I was used to, right? So it was kind of like on a roller coaster, so to say. Sometimes good, sometimes what's up. So basically, okay, upon arrival, upon starting, it was like there was a lot of personal, like working personally, right? Like doing a lot of independent work. And it wasn't something that I was used to coming from Nigeria because there was more interaction with the lecturers and everything. Like they literally spoon fed you. But then I thought about, okay, this is a master program. So definitely it's bound to be, more hands on, right? So it was a lot more hands on for me here. And we did a lot of group work and everything. That was a good experience for me. But on the other hand, like considering the course that I was studying at the time or that I studied, it was international marketing and sales, like I mentioned. So we did lots and lots of presentation, lots and lots of self like teaching students, right? It was like in a module of its own, and it wasn't funny to be honest. Like having to prepare lectures and teach your fellow students. Ha, all thanks to COVID, I did that online because I couldn't imagine having to do that in front of my classmates at some. But then thinking about it, I would have coped at some point. I would have coped if I had to, right? So yeah, generally it wasn't bad. It was just a mix of the highs and the lows as usual. And then COVID came, right? I think I started shortly before COVID. I did most of my 2 year or 3 year program during COVID because I mean we couldn't attend lectures and everything. So yeah, it was a mix of good and bad. Like for some modules, I was glad to be at home doing them and not having to go to school. And then of course, the distance is another thing. For me, I was living in Dortmund and my school is in Münster. So I was saved the stress of having to operate from home to school every other day, right? Even though if COVID didn't happen, I'd have relocated to school at some point. Well, generally, it wasn't bad. It was a great experience, I must admit. So yeah.
Okay. What would you say were the few highlights of your study experience?
Um, I enjoyed first off the perks of being a student, and that included like lots and lots of subsidies in Germany, discounts and everything. Once you present your student ID card, you get lots and lots of stuff for free or for reduced price. And of course, in school, you got to eat cheaper than someone who wasn't a student or even someone who was a lecturer, I think. And then on the other hand, I I enjoyed the fact that I it was a flexible like I was very flexible when I was a student. Like I didn't take all my courses at once because they were too cumbersome. So I had the opportunity of splitting my courses. So that made my study time instead of 2 years to extend to 3 years. And that of course gave me time to work. I did a lot of jobs here and there as a student, which included like internships and everything. I did quite some internships and some VEC student jobs while I was a student. And I got time for that because I was able to divide my semester courses, like I split them as much as I could. So yeah, these are some of the highlights for me as well. And what else? What else? What else can I say? Yes, I also like the fact that I was studying from home, to be honest. It was really chill. Imagine having a class by by 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and then you're rolling over
Rolling out
to
of.
turn on your computer by 7:55. That was so cool. So yeah, these are the few that I can remember right now.
Okay. And the other side of it, the not so good experiences.
Okay, so for me, the not so good experiences, I mentioned that in the beginning, comprehension for me was a lot slower than I imagined. Okay, like it took me a while to adjust to the system of education, and it's not like we have back home where you could form study groups exactly, right? Even though I was lucky that I met two Africans, one Nigerian and one Ghanaian, who were in my class at the time. One was like my set, the other one was like a set after me. Or was it my same set? I can't remember. I think it was a set after me. So there was some kind of synergy, like people that understand how like the learning process from where you're coming from is. So it kind of like made that part easier for me. So yeah, there was some kind of synergy, and you know, we're able to understand each other's thought process and learning process and where we're coming from, and we tried to measure what was existing here. So that was how I was able to get a grip of the whole system, and it helped my comprehension a lot, and comprehension of the system a lot. And yeah, also, even though I like the fact that I was studying during COVID and I didn't get to go to school, it had its own downside as well, because I believe that if we had the opportunity of going to lectures like we did normally,
Mhm.
it would have been easier for us, like in terms of maybe you would have had, because to be honest, I felt like I didn't know a lot of my classmates, because
Yeah.
having to see them on the screen every other day, maybe that was also what prevented me having some kind of like study group, so to say. Because if you guys were in school, if we were all in like physical class together, you could always reach out to someone, and then physical meeting could
Mhm.
have helped a lot. But being like over the screen, I think there was some kind of shield or wall for me, so to say. But yeah, that was like a downside to it. And yeah, I'll say those were like the low points for me, but I was able to overcome them eventually.
But your bachelor's degree related to your master's.
Oh no. I wouldn't say no entirely. It was like I studied agricultural economics in Nigeria. Yeah. So I did a transition to marketing, and I was lucky enough to do that because my transcript, I did economics in my bachelor's. So my transcript was in order, was in line with what I was going to study in marketing, right? So that was how I was able to transition from agricultural economics straight into international marketing and sales. So
Thank you for that brief background, because there's usually this question get where people say you have to study that is directly related, but it's quite different actually.
yeah, you actually have to, when as far as Germany is concerned, you have to study something that is actually related. Like I said, the main thing here is different courses,
Different
they can be a certain department or a field of study, but with like they have an umbrella of modules, so to say. But then they could call them different things. Like for example, like I said, I had economics background, okay, and the good thing was that for my marketing and sales course, the courses that I was going to study there, I already had done some of them in my bachelor's degree. So there just has to be like an underlining,
yeah,
what's the word for it?
some
There just has
similarities.
to be synergy. Thank you, similarities. Do you understand? You can't just come from an entirely different background. It's not like in Nigeria where we do PGD that enables you to switch
Yeah.
or transition into another field. But in this case, there just has to be similarities between what you did in your bachelor's and what you want to do in the master's. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
And in Germany, your own, how were you able
Hmm?
to get a support system during your study here in Germany? How were you able to
Oh,
find people that supported you because of being a black student in Germany?
right. Okay, so I already had friends here before arriving, so it made it easier for me. And there was a lot of advice from them. Okay, this is what I think you should do. This is what would help you. This is what I did, and it helped me. Especially like the splitting of the courses. Like a friend of mine here told me, hey, look, if you carry everything at once, you will break down. So I would suggest that you actually split it down. The first semester I didn't heed to that advice. I carried every course in the first semester, and I broke down. Believe me when I tell you, I broke down. I had ear issues then. So I had to tell myself, okay, you have to take it easy. So basically, that really helped me a lot in terms of, okay, putting me in the right direction. Okay, this is what you should do. This is what I think you should do, or this is what I think you shouldn't do. And these are the things that helped me, and these are the things that I feel if you did them would help you as well. So that was majorly the kind of support I got. And also, if I had issues with, how the system of education was, or if I wasn't so sure about something,
Mhm.
I could always, get response when I asked questions. So yeah, that's the kind of support that I got, and it really did help me a lot. And then, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Interesting.
Right. Interesting.
It was
It was
different for me.
different for me.
I didn't really
Oh,
get
really?
the
Really get
idea
the
because when I
idea
came to
because when
Germany,
I
I
came
didn't
to Germany,
really
I didn't really
have a lot
have
of
a lot of
people or know a
people
lot
or
of
know a lot
people
of people. Oh, wow.
who were at
Who
my
were at my
university,
university,
who were
who
Africans
were
in my university,
Africans in
if you understand what I mean.
the
So we're
university.
kind of like
So kind of like
I don't know what's the word,
what's the word?
the
I get your
experiment.
point.
We're the
I get
first
your point.
big
Yeah.
influx of
Influx of
Africans who were
Africans
studying
who were
that
studying that
program
program
in in that
in that
university.
university.
So we just had
Mm-hmm.
to
So we
learn
just had
everything
to
on
learn
our
everything
own and
on our
everything. So it was a bit
yeah.
difficult.
I feel you. Yeah, most times it happens like that. A lot of people. I was just very lucky and fortunate to have the Africans in my program of
Mhm.
study. Do you understand? And the friends that I told you about that helped me here, it wasn't like they're not like in my school or study what I studied, right? So
Mm,
they're just people here, Nigerians as well, who had already studied in their various fields of study,
mhm,
various fields of you know what I mean.
mhm.
And then they gave me the advice based off their own experiences, you
Mm,
get.
yeah,
So yeah, I think I was lucky to have Africans in my school, and during my course it was something that not a lot of people have the opportunity to,
yeah,
like, not a lot of people have that opportunity. Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So I can imagine how different it must have felt for you, like being the only black person or African person in the area and
Yeah,
studying what you were studying. What's your major?
economics.
Oh, really? Was
Yeah,
that the same thing you did in Nigeria?
yes, economics, bachelor's, economics, masters.
Oh,
Yeah, but my
nice.
master's had the finance
Had a
component,
finance component.
so I
So
learned a bit
I learned
about
a bit about
finance in that regard.
oh, nice.
Yes.
Yes. So
So the last question, the
last
last
question,
question. Would you choose
would
Germany
you choose
again,
Germany again,
considering everything
considering
that you have
everything that you have
experienced from
experienced
when you
from
came to
when you came to
Germany
Germany
till now?
to
And what
now,
kind of
and what
advice
kind
would
of
you give to
advice would you
somebody
give
who
to
is looking
somebody
to
who is
study in
looking to study
Germany
in
in
Germany in
this current year?
this current year? Okay, I will definitely choose Germany again for the reasons that, first of all, I will say this. I mean, how do you get excellent education for free and you wouldn't want to study in that country? Who does that? And then you get to study in English language as a master student. Why not?
Yeah.
And then you get a Schengen visa as a student that you can use to tour Europe, Schengen areas. Why not? So these are like pointers to the fact that I would choose Germany over and over again if I had to. And and that's why I always tell people on my YouTube channel, I always try to give them, my 2 cents about why they should consider coming here, because I see a lot of people, they are struggling. They are even okay. Before I even get to that point, as a student here in Germany, even compared to countries like the Netherlands, you
Mhm.
have smooth. You're able to work smoothly as a student for 20 hours, and then when you're on holidays, you can work for 40 hours without stress. So tell me who would see all of these juicy opportunities and then would want to go to study in a place like, no shades to any country, right? You'll be running and be looking for Canadian visa or UK, and you'll be paying school fees, so much school fees that at the end of the day, when you still come out to the job market, you still compete favorably with, people who studied in German.
Mhm.
Do you understand?
Mhm.
And who in Germany rather? Or is it like countries like the Netherlands where students don't even have the permits to work? Or even if they do, it's kind of very limited. So these are the things I would say and be like, I beg. I will still choose Germany over and over again. Even before the 49 euro tickets began, there was this thing where you could move around Germany with, not move around Germany, rather,
Your
move
region.
around your state.
Yeah.
I studied in North Rhine-Westphalia. So we had the student ticket and you could move around the state with this ticket. You just had to pay a subsidized fee. and then you got a ticket to carry you around. It's called the semester ticket. I don't know if you guys used it in your
I studied
area
in
where you
NRV
studied
too,
as
so
well.
yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Do you get? And
Yeah.
then on the weekends, you can carry people for free, then Fridays to Sunday. So, the benefits are a lot. So I
It's
would
like
choose
a
Germany
woof.
over and over again. Do you get? Oof, sister, you get the point. So, and for anybody who is coming to Germany now,
Mm-hmm.
I would just tell you to really two things I would always say. First things first is, what do you really want to study? Like, think about it. Like, is it something that will give you an opportunity to work in the future? Or before I even get to this point, say, before I even come there, another reason why I would choose Germany again is because you have the ability to switch programs. Like, I know people that, okay, this particular course is not working for me. I want to switch. I want to go to another school. I want to study another, like go to another school and study the same thing in the same line, right? And then the switch, all you just have to do is exmatriculate from this school and immatriculate in the next school.
Yeah.
Easy as ABC, no
Mm-hmm.
stress. I know people who switched from being bachelor or master students to going to do Ausbildung.
True.
It's very possible. So
Mm-hmm.
there are numerous opportunities for you here. Many people are not informed, and I get it. That's why they're like, okay, and that's why my channel is there to bring this kind of information out there. So these are the reasons why I would choose Germany over and over again. And back to what I would advise anybody who wants to come here, you have to ask yourself, like, do I like this course I want to study right now? What are the potentials for me tomorrow? Is it something that I can use to get a good job after
Mm-hmm.
studies?
Yeah.
Is it a competitive one? Like, how is the job market, the labor market for people who have graduated from this field of study? Is it competitive? How, things like that. And also ask yourself, okay, is it something that when I'm done studying the course in English language, when I have to work, it demands that I have a very strong a very strong knowledge of the German language. Am I ready to do that? Many people are not ready to learn a new language. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So ask yourself these pertinent questions. Am I really ready to do what it takes to eventually work in this field if it turns out to be that it needs a very high sufficient level of German language? That's one. On the other hand, ask yourself, where do you want to study? Now, there are so many universities in so many very deep parts of Germany that people get there and like, who sent me to this place? And
Mm-hmm.
that's because it's not a very international friendly place, if I have to
Yeah.
say that. Like, you don't get to see lots of internationals there, and you would likely feel alone. That's the honest truth of the matter. So it's best for you to consider studying in places where you are likely to see many internationals, like Berlin, Hamburg, Frankfurt, North Rhine-Westphalia. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the kind of, like, do your research
Yeah.
and ensure that, okay, if I go to this place, I'll not only see internationals like me, but I will also get jobs that I can do as a student, because there are also some areas that you can go to in Germany and
They're
you
not
don't
enough.
see opportunities for you to work as a student.
Yeah.
There are not so many kind of jobs. You can just see maybe one McDonald's that's like 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers away from you. So these are like the two major things I would always advise anybody who is coming to Germany. What do you want to study? Is it of relevance to you in the future after studies? And where do you want to study? Would you see people that look like you, or at least that are foreigners as well? And would you also get opportunities to work while you're studying? So
Mm-hmm.
these are the two things I would advise anybody that wants to come over here.
Um,
And okay, one more thing as well, very important. You know that there's this assumption that, okay, Germany is this, Germany is that. And that thing really makes people like they don't even research for themselves. Or even if they don't research, like they let it cloud their minds. Like when they come here, they're already looking for someone who will treat them badly. And then they
yeah.
begin to carry the mantra or the propaganda up and down. I
Yeah.
feel like you should, if you're planning to come to Germany, take it out of your mind, because it
Have a
would
fresh
limit
mind.
your,
Like,
yes, that impression
mm-hmm.
would limit how far you can go. Do you
Yeah.
understand? Because you're busy looking for who didn't do this to me and who did that to me. So if you can, no, for real, I am
Yeah,
telling you
yeah,
that
I
for free.
get you.
Yes.
Something came to mind. That's why I'm laughing.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
that preconceived notion is
yeah,
really bad. Like, take it out of your mind and just go in like you're going to any other country. Do you
yeah.
understand? And don't feel like, oh, somebody will do this to me, somebody will do that. There are bad people everywhere. There are funny
True.
people everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
don't let that be a reason for you to, you know, say, oh, I don't want to come here because this is what I heard about it. So that's what I'm gonna. These are my 3 cents.
It's a lot of sense,
It's a
more
lot
like
of
€1.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for those wise words, Kelechi, and for your time as well. Guys, like she already mentioned, she's a YouTuber, and
Like you already mentioned, she's a YouTuber.
it shares insightful information
Shares
about living
insightful
in
information about
Germany,
living in
studied in
Germany,
Germany,
studied in
and so
Germany,
much more.
and so much more.
Her
Her
information or the link
information for
to
the
her
link
YouTube
to her
channel is
YouTube
in the
channel
description box below.
description box below.
So go to her channel
Go to
and
her channel
give her
and
some
um,
love.
thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much
watching,
for
everyone.
watching,
I'll see you
everyone.
in
I'll
the
see
next
you in
one.
the
Take good
next
care
one.
of
Take good care
yourselves.
of yourselves.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.